Hi, welcome to English 2311, Business and Technical Writing. I'm your instructor, Dr. William Smith. I just want to take a few minutes to introduce myself, to welcome you to the class, to tell you how excited I am to work with you all this semester, and mostly to talk just for a few minutes about how this class works. You probably have taken online classes before. You may even have taken online classes through Weatherford College. But this class may work differently. Certainly the expectations may be different, the assignments may be different, and even like the course structure may be a little different from courses you've taken in the past. With online classes especially, I think it's really important that we be as clear as possible so that everybody knows what's required and how to work through the materials. So I want to spend just a few minutes just going over that. And let's start by looking at the course homepage on Canvas. Course homepage. It should look pretty familiar to you. It's the same homepage that all online classes at Weatherford College use. And these buttons down here, the course welcome page, presumably you've already been on that page since that's the page the welcome video is found on. Let's instead look at the course syllabus and policies page. I'm not going to go over everything on the course outline, but I do want to go over some of the key points, and I'll leave you to read the rest of it. Please do make sure that you read the rest of the course outline, though. Obviously, it starts with some information about me, my name, Dr. William Smith, my office. If you want to come to my office to talk to me in person, I am always happy to do that. In the summer, I don't normally have regular office hours, so you'll need to just contact me either by email or you can call my office phone number as it is here. Those voicemails go to my email, so I'd get them the same way. Or you can send me a message through Canvas, and we'll set up an appointment, and I'm happy to do that if you want to. I know most students generally don't want to come to campus during the summer, but if you do, I'm certainly willing to meet with you there. My email address is really important. That's sort of the primary way of getting in touch with me, so make sure you note it here. It's wsmith@wc.edu. Don't just search for my name in the email program because there are multiple William Smiths. Make sure you use that address. And let me just say, I really do want you to contact me, I promise. I'm always eager to help you, so anytime you have a question or a concern or just a comment or just want to talk about the class, don't hesitate to send me an email, send me a message, call me and leave me a voicemail. I'm happy to communicate with you however it works best for you. I just want you to make sure that you actually do reach out to me, especially in online classes, and especially in online classes in the summer because they move so fast. It's really important that you take that initiative to reach out to the instructor if you have any concerns or questions. And I promise I'm not gonna, you don't have to apologize for bothering me. I want to help you. That is my job. So please don't hesitate to contact me. Let's see, I'll talk just briefly about the nature of the course, just because I think that technical writing is something that a lot of people don't understand. The term is actually a little imprecise. It's really workplace writing is the way I think of it. And workplace writing is different from writing in school. And so most of the writing classes you've taken before have operated on certain assumptions. And those assumptions are not going to be true in this class because we're going to have different goals, different ideas of what makes writing successful or unsuccessful. For example, here's something that students are often excited about. There are no minimum length guidelines in this class. In fact, much more likely, I'll give you maximum length guidelines. I'll say do not write more than 500 words or more than 1,000 words or something like that, because conciseness is one of the keys to effective writing in the workplace. People don't want to read a big, long essay. English teachers might in their composition classes, but people at the workplace don't. And so a lot of those assumptions that you've been working on in other classes you're going to have to kind of start fresh and think about writing in a different way. And don't worry, we're going to step through all of that over the next few days in the class. We'll also be talking about things like document design. So that's something that's different from other writing classes. So it won't just be the words you use, but actually the layout of the documents, the use of visuals, the use of different kinds of document navigation, for example. So we're going to talk a lot about that. And we're also going to focus a little more on collaborative writing in this class than you probably did in your other writing classes. So you will be working on teams, not for the major assignments in the class, but there are some minor assignments that you're going to be working on collaboratively. And then we're just going to talk about collaboration quite a bit. So those are the things that are sort of the focus of the class. As I say here in this document, technical writing is really about solving problems. And so that's the way you should think about the writing that you're doing is what's the problem that needs to be solved, who needs this piece of writing, and how can I best accomplish that goal for that particular audience. All right, let's go on to some of the more technical things here. The textbook for the class, The Essentials of Technical Communication in the Workplace, is the 5th edition by Elizabeth Thibault and Sam Draga. This book is provided automatically for you as part of what's called the Day One Access program at the college. The electronic book is provided for you automatically. It's included in your tuition for the class, unless you opted out. And we can talk a little about that, but that just means you decide not to use that program, and you can do that through the college bookstore. But assuming that you didn't, the way you access the book is right over here on the left-hand side in the menu, right near the top anyway, the Day One Access. If you click on that link, it should open a page where you can see a link to the textbook. Yours might not look exactly like mine, but this is what mine looks like, and here's our textbook. And you just click on it, and it'll take you straight into the textbook. You've got the table of contents here. You can search for things, you can highlight, etc. So it should be really easy to get to the textbook and to use the textbook. One of the things that's great about the Day One Access program is everybody has the textbook right at the beginning of the semester, so we can jump right in. And you do actually have reading assignments due on the first day, on Monday. So you'll need that. You do need a web browser. Obviously, I encourage you to use Chrome. You'll need a word processing program. You'll need a Google Docs account. We'll talk about this a little more in a couple of days. The collaborative writing assignments that I mentioned earlier are done through Google Docs, so you will need to have a Google Docs account. But you can, if you don't have one already, if you don't have a Gmail account, for example, you can set one up for free, and I can step you through that. Let's see. Let's go on and talk about the assignments and grades, because that is something I think you're probably more concerned with. So the way the assignments break down in this class, we'll have minor assignments in every unit of the class that are designed to sort of make you think about the ideas and the goals of the major projects. And there's a bunch of them, and they're worth a total of 10%. There's also chapter quizzes and things like that. They're worth a total of 10% of your grade. And then we have 5 major assignments or major projects. We're going to start with a job packet, which is a cover letter and resume. We're going to write an instructional manual. You're going to do a workplace correspondence project, which involves both a memo and a business letter. You're going to write a recommendation report. That's your major assignment for the class. This is a report in which you make a specific recommendation to a specific organization that's going to involve research and graphics and various things. And then at the end of the semester, you're going to take that report and convert it into a presentation, an oral presentation that you'll record and submit online. So those are the assignments. You can see that they represent about 80% of the course grade, and then 10% for the minor assignment, and 10% for the final exam, which is done obviously at the end of the semester. So that's your total grade breakdown. Do note, this is actually pretty important, all major projects must be submitted in PDF format. Because we're working with document design, it's really important that the document you submit is the same document that you created. And if you submit a document in Word or in a Google Doc or something like that, the formatting can change when you submit it to Canvas. If you submit it as a PDF, the formatting should not change. So all major projects, you need to submit in PDF format. If you don't know how to convert a file from Microsoft Word or Google Docs into PDF format, just let me know, and I'll be happy to explain that for you. Couple other things here. I do accept major assignments late. Let me just back up and say that late work really isn't accepted nearly as much in this class as in my other classes, because we're trying to approach the work the way you would in the workplace. And if you have a particular deadline in the workplace, obviously you should treat that as a concrete and fixed deadline. So I really want you to get everything turned in on time. However, I do understand that there may be some circumstances, maybe you're sick, maybe you're out of town, etc., where you have to turn something in late. So I'll allow you to turn the major assignments in late, any of these 5 that are listed up here. Those can be turned in late, but there's a 10-point penalty applied every day that it's late. So obviously, if you do turn it in late, you need to turn it in as quickly as possible after the due date, because those penalties can certainly accumulate. The minor assignments are not accepted late, so you need to make sure you do those on time. However, if you miss one, if you can't get one done by the due date, don't freak out. There are a lot of minor assignments, and since they're only worth 10% of your grade total, missing one isn't that big a deal. It's not the end of the world, right? So make sure you get those minor assignments turned in on time. Make sure that you get the major assignments turned in on time or as soon after the due date as possible. One other reason to turn in the major assignments on time is that if you do, I then allow you to revise that assignment after I've graded it. And again, this is only for the major assignments, and it's the first 4 major assignments. The presentation's due at the very end of the semester, so you can't turn that one in late. But you can't revise that one, sorry. But the job packet, instructional manual, workplace correspondence project, or recommendation report, after you submit those and I grade it and give you feedback on it, I will allow you to revise that assignment based on my feedback and resubmit it. You'll have this 3-day period after I'm done grading grading all of the assignments. I'll open this 3-day revision period for that assignment, and you have that time to revise. And if you do resubmit and your paper shows significant improvement, then I'll just replace the grade from the original grade with the improved grade. However, if you turn a major assignment in late, you lose the opportunity for revision. And I'll be real honest with you, that's just another way I'm trying to encourage you to turn the assignments in on time. So make sure you turn major assignments in on time because, first of all, you don't want that late penalty, and second of all, you want to be able to revise them and bring up your grade if you want to. Let's see, you can expect responses from me in 24 hours. Usually much faster than that, by the way. And I'll grade as fast as I can. The minor assignments, I can usually grade the next day. The major assignments sometimes will take me a few days. I do have multiple classes this semester, but I'll never take more than a week. That's in the summer semester. That's way too long. So I'll try to get them done as quickly as possible. The only thing I want to say about academic integrity, please make sure you read the academic integrity statement, which does include plagiarism, obviously cheating on exams, etc. And now, of course, also includes the unauthorized use of AI tools. We're going to talk about AI and technical writing because I do think that AI is changing the nature of technical writing. And we're going to talk about what's acceptable use of AI and what's not acceptable use of AI. But let me just say up front, having ChatGPT or another AI engine write your assignments for you is not an acceptable use. And if you do, if it's demonstrated that you've used AI to write the assignment, then that will be considered a 0 for that class, for that paper rather. All right. Again, read over the rest of the course outline on your own time. There's some other information in there as well. But I do want to get to the actual class content, and this is really important. The button that you need to access the course content is the modules button right over here. I use the modules feature of Canvas. It means all the course content is in these units called modules. You can see how that looks here. And in fact, after the first few days of the class, I'm going to take away that home page, and this will just be what you see when you get to the classroom. And so the modules are just ways of grouping different resources. So we have the course information module at the top of the page, and then we have modules for each of the units in the class. We start with a little 2-day unit called the introduction unit, where we learn about technical writing in general, and then you can see Unit 1 starts on Wednesday, runs through the following Wednesday, etc. And so in these modules is everything you need, all the resources, links to the textbooks, assignments, etc. All the instructions, everything is in the module. And the way the modules work is they're lined up sequentially. So you should always start at the beginning of the module. And so here's the introductory module, a little short introduction, and then you should use the next button to get to the next page. And so this will tell you to read the first chapter. Obviously, then you'd go over to the Day 1 Access link and access that first chapter. Once you're done reading it, hit the next button, and you'll get to my lecture on technical writing. So my point is, I know it's tempting to just use like either the assignments menu or the to-do list on your calendar, which will list all your assignments, and just kind of jump in and start trying to complete assignments. It's tempting to do it that way. But if you're doing it that way, then you're going to miss all of the resources that I provided to explain those assignments and what our goals are, etc. And so you'll need to, and the textbook is relatively important because we're going to be working on these particular assignments with the assumptions of the textbook. So for example, some of the things that the textbook says about resumes in the job packet assignment may be different from what you'll find online. So it's important that you don't just jump in and start looking stuff up and trying to complete things on your own, but rather go through the course materials page by page, and you'll get to the assignments, as you can see in that first introductory unit, for example. You read the first chapter, watch a lecture from me, watch a couple of short videos. There's a resource here on writing an email to a professor, a couple of those, and then an assignment about writing an email to me. And so you have to go through those pages. You'll get to the assignments after you've seen all the resources, and that will make your success on the assignment a lot more likely. Once we get to the first real unit, Unit 1, all the units have on the first page a sort of detailed set of instructions on what you need to do each day in that unit. So you can see here there are things to do on Wednesday the 4th, on Thursday the 5th, etc. And if you just kind of go back to the module, it'll step you through those things, but you can kind of see how much of the unit you should be doing each day in order to keep up with it. Okay, I think that's basically all that I need to show you on here. If you have any questions about the modules or about any of the resources, please just let me know. Okay, I know that was a lot of material. If you have any questions about anything I've gone over, please don't hesitate to contact me. As I've already talked about, my email address is probably the easiest way to get in touch with me. That email address is wsmith@wc.edu. You can also send me a message through Canvas. You can call me on my office phone number, which is available on the course outline, and leave me a voicemail, and I'll be glad to get back to you that way. The bottom line is I want you to know that I want to help you. I want to be accessible to you. This is not one of those online classes where you're kind of just out there on your own. I'm going to be in the classroom every day, interacting with you on a very regular basis, and I always want to be helpful if I can. So please don't hesitate to contact me, whether it's during the day, in the evening, during the weekends, whatever. Send me an email. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you don't have any other questions, then I need you to go ahead and get started working through the course materials. So you can just click on the next link. And if you have any questions as you're working through those materials, again, please don't hesitate to ask me. All right. I look forward to the rest of this semester. Thanks.